One. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us live. Of course, the shows will be published later, so you can listen at your own time. Today, we have a few questions that have been sent in, and I posted the first question. We're also discussing the victim disparity. This is something that we can continue and get some feedback from Tank and Damon. Thank you all for joining us. And Jermaine and we're in here talking about the victim disparity and some of the factors that contribute to it, and men feeling, I guess, devalued in a sense. When we talk about domestic violence, we talk about abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. And how tall are you, Jermaine?
6'3".
And you're 6'3", football player, track star, former athlete, soldier.
I was an MMA fighter too. So yeah, I cut the whole gamut.
So now it's like, how can you be a victim or how can you be abused? You know?
Exactly.
So tell us a little about that. How do you feel about that disparity?
Well, like I said, being the fact that I experienced it, it sucks. I mean, like I said, and I guess like my sister said, I used to have a phobia of Circle K's because whenever, my wife would get, started on me, there was nowhere for me to go because there were no shelters for men. But I had to get away from the situation because we all know if I respond, how they would have came out, especially in Mecklenburg County. So it's like, what I would have to do is, there's a Circle K on Mountain Creek Church Road. They would allow me to park my car in their parking lot and I would have to sleep in my car because there were no shelters for men. And I tell people now, and I'm very transparent about it. My first suicide attempt came after I got off the domestic violence hotline.
Oh,
Cause
man.
the woman told me it could be worse. You could be a woman.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I almost lost my breath when she said it.
So the person that you call for help, and what did she say?
She said it could be worse. You could be a woman.
Oh, wow.
And that's part of what I was saying when I said, why don't men go get help? Why don't men go get help? And I'm like, when I went to go get help, they made me feel dumber than my ex-wife did.
And what?
That's actually insane.
Yeah, but that was my
Like,
life.
that's crazy.
And I thought about this. I didn't get a lot of details, right? I woke up in the middle of the night, like I usually do, and watch a little clip on the news where this kid, I think he was either a football player or a basketball player. He's recently found not guilty of a criminal sexual assault and some other
It's happening all the time now. There's a lot of trials being reversed on evidence now.
Well, with this young man, he claims his innocence from the very beginning, but I found out that the lady looked at the school's roster and saw his picture and used that picture to pick him up out of a lineup, man, and basically ruin this guy's life. But it's a
we all heard about Brian Banks.
right, and what he went through. But I think that a lot of times what I saw, and not only men, but the same thing that we experience is above average size men. A lot of young,
That works against us.
a lot of young black women dealt with this, and there's some articles that talk about it. They deal with this in school, right? Because of their size, and we experience puberty at a different rate, right?
Yeah.
But when young women experience puberty and these young girls' body parts are developing, their voices are changing, their demeanor's changing because, 12, 13, 14, they're kind of befriending their mom. They still respect mom, but they want to get to the point where they can talk to mom, right?
They're teenagers.
They're teenagers now and preteens, and moms invite that dialogue because they want to know what their daughters are doing. They want them to talk to them about sex, boys, etc. So the interaction changes. But when they're comfortable talking to mom,
they want to know. They don't know where he at.
Right. But when these girls get comfortable talking to mom, then that discourse appears to be disrespectful when they talk to teachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
in that interaction. So they deal with that. But as adults, we have to deal with the fact where we cannot be a victim in some instances. It's like we can never be a victim, or whenever there's a case of some type of domestic situation and someone pulls up, it's the assumption that this large male is the person that's
Oh,
in
that's
fault.
happened. That's happened. I've called the police on my ex-wife, and they got there and told me to leave.
Mm.
So it happened.
What was the explanation or justification behind it?
Oh no, he just said, "Sir, we need to leave the house." He wouldn't even let me. He didn't give me a chance to say nothing. He went straight to her.
See, it's just that assumption that she's the victim and you're the person that's the accused or the aggressor, I should say.
Yeah, that's so sad. And like a lot of like, and I know a lot of people don't agree with me when I say this. And I truly don't care because it's truly just how I feel off of the things that I've seen and I've experienced in my life. But the same way, like when you're kids, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, your parents tell you like, don't put your hands on nobody because you don't want nobody putting their hands on you. You get what I'm saying? My grandma, like my family, they didn't like, of course they taught the men like, you know, you don't put your hands on a woman, whatever have you, however that may be. We weren't actually told as women, like, don't put your hands on no man. It was just, don't touch nobody or don't hit nobody if you don't want to be hit back, right?
Right.
But for me, I always took that as both genders, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Man or woman. Like, I don't want a man to hit me, so I'm not going to put my hands on him. And I don't like to fight, so I don't want to put my hands on nobody really.
Have you ever hit a
But
man?
no,
I was
I've never
told.
hit a man. Well, actually, I did hit a man, but that was after I got slapped into a window. That was, and you know what? I'm lying. I really didn't even hit him. I took the steering wheel to the car and tried to like crash us. Honestly,
Ooh,
I did,
ooh.
but I didn't hit him because in that moment, I really just wanted to get away from him. So whatever I had to do to get away from him is what I was going to do for myself. I don't, and in that moment, I didn't even care how it turned out.
Yeah, that's Chris Brown.
Well, I want
So
to give.
no, I have not put my hands on a man outside of like maybe giving my son a whooping, which he only ever got one in his life. Cause then I felt so bad afterwards that I was like, you know what? I'm going to find a different way to do this because as the woman
Boy,
in his life, I mean, as the woman in his life, I don't want him to think it's okay for a woman to be putting her hands on him. So I don't want to be putting my hands on him. I want to find a
and
different, better way to communicate with my son so that he understands no woman should ever put her hands on you.
Okay, that's we'll get on that one low on another episode. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
I want to get
yeah.
this question out for Jermaine. I know Tank was here earlier and Damon was. We have someone that asked. She said, as a more mature woman, I desire to be with a man who has prepared himself for a spouse. What are some things you feel a man should do to prepare yourself for that situation? And I'll let you begin, Jermaine. Think about that for a minute. She said, as a more mature woman, she desires to be with a man who has prepared himself for a spouse. I can let you and Tank chime in on this one. What are some things that you feel a man should do to prepare himself? You and Tank can chime in on that.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a that's kind of a complex question. The reason I say that is because it's like, what is it that you're expecting? Because a lot of times when you have these guys out here that have the mental stability, the demeanor, all these things you want, those are the you're a nice guy butt fella,
Mm.
you know. And see, I don't know what to say because it's like, you've come across these men, but it's like sometimes, like I think when somebody used to say, where have all the good men at? Where are all the good men at? And I'll be like, check your friend zone, because it's like they're out there. They're out there, and there's plenty of them.
So you're saying that they don't really want that? They say they want it, but don't want it.
in a way, because what's going to happen is, it's like, well, I want a man that's honest. I want a man that's going to cherish me. I want a man. Okay, fine. Guess what? The man that picked up your trash the other day, he's probably going to do that for you, but you're not looking at him. You know what I'm saying? That guy that did your oil, he'll probably treat you like that, but you're not looking at him. You know, the guy that served you at the restaurant, he'll probably do that, but you're not looking at him. They're out there. You're not looking at him.
No, you gotta get it.
And then, Lord forbid, he's under 5'5".
But to answer the question though, right? It's what do you feel as a man, as just you being you? How can you prepare for being a spouse? Not putting it back on a woman, right? How can you yourself prepare for being a spouse?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, it's a mindset. And see, for me in particular, if I'm going into a situation with a female, going into that situation, my mindset is, what can I do for her? What can I do for her? I'm not worried about me. I'm coming to the table worried about her, because that's the way it's supposed to be, you know? But like I said, sometimes when guys come across like that, you know, you're a nice guy, but, you know, and it'll be, because the thing it is, it's like, there's plenty of these guys out. Just like I told you before, there's bad people on both sides, but they're a minority of each other's population. So it's like, you really have to work hard to find that bad one, because that number is small. And like I said, there are a lot of, there are a lot, bad men are going to be bad men. That's just who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and that's the thing. So it's thing like, you find them, guess what? They didn't become that. They were that when you met them. So it's like, there's plenty of other guys out here that's not going to do what he did, but there's going to be something about him that didn't tickle you the way that this guy did.
I got a question for you, Jermaine.
Yeah.
What makes a guy a bad guy?
Well, to me, somebody that doesn't take care of his family, somebody that disrespects women, somebody doesn't stand on business, somebody that expects the word to be handed to him. I think et cetera, et cetera. I think we kind of go out. We know where I'm going with that. If you're coming in, that's part of me. If those are the guys that are not equipped to be spouses,
Gotcha.
but yet they get all the women.
Hey, but you know what? A lot of women like the bad guy.
Oh, and that's what I said. That's what I said before. I said the good guys are out there, but you're not looking at them.
There's a saying that says good guys finish last with a foot in there. You know what the rest is.
Oh, yes, sir. You're a nice guy, but.
And they want Future, but they also want Russell.
Exactly. But they don't want Russell until after Future done did what he did.
Correct.
Like I said, look. All the girl that married to Russell now, I guarantee you, before she met Future, or Russell Wilson wasn't even on her radar.
Man, they still got a Future every couple of weekends. Go ahead, man. Stop.
You know what I'm saying?
Cole? What you say, Cole?
I'm going to go back to the question. What are some things you feel a man should do to prepare himself to be a spouse?
Well, like I said, be mentally, well, I know women use the term mentally, what they call it? Something y'all call mentally educated, some mess. But the thing about it is, you have to be ready to have the mindset, to have the intestinal fortitude to be the head of a house. On top of that, you need to know, you need to know solve the problem. You need to know how to have a certain demeanor to solve things. You need to know how, if something happens and stuff come on you, you're not going to fall all to pieces, because you already prepare yourself for that situation. And then, of course, get your money right, get your things in order, business-wise, and just pretty much as a man, that's all you can do. You never get a chance to show the rest until a woman gives you a chance. But the basic things you can do, get yourself together. I mean, financially, mentally, get yourself together. And unfortunately, you got to wait, because a lot of times these guys aren't the guys with the biggest mouths either.
Coach John, why don't you chime in on that question?
I'm letting the guys speak. Go ahead, Tank.
Tank gone.
Tank is there. What do you have to say, Tank or Damon? What are some things you feel a man should do to prepare himself to be a spouse?
I'm gonna.
I said the club thing. You know, sometimes people put themselves in the way of trouble.
I think he was breaking up.
Yeah, I think so too.
So here's the thing. I think about communication, right? And I don't think there's some blanket things that should be done, but the specifics has to be communicated by that person. Because when you talk about being a spouse, you have to think about what does that person envision, right? A marriage to be. Where do they see themselves 5, 10, 20, 50 years from now, right? And a lot of things you're going to have to do exclusively to them. And I think these things should be discussed openly and honestly, because we're going to change over time. The person that you are at your wedding is not who you're going to be 5 years, 10 years. And you may be great for that person during that time, but things change. So I would begin by saying some of the generic characteristics I think to prepare themselves is getting to the point where a man can be honest, right? No matter what the situation is, if it's a work relationship, a spousal relationship, or any type of relationship, honesty is an important factor. So getting to the point where you're an honest person, being consistent, and being able to communicate your expectations, communicate your thoughts and feelings. Don't hold things in and go along to get along. And just from past experiences, I've been in situations where I've liked a person, wanted to be with that person, and I tolerated some things. I didn't really like it. I tolerated it because I liked the person, right? But over time, if they continue doing those things, it could probably get to the point where I can't tolerate it anymore, or those same things can kind of push you away. So
And in a situation like that, guess what? It wasn't her fault. It was your fault because you saw the problems when they were there, and you tried to, like I said, I say towards women, but I say towards men the same way. If you see these signs and you still choose to walk into it, what happens at that point? Unfortunately, you got to take some responsibility for that.
right, that's why I said I learned that you have to communicate those things, right? And in preparing myself, it's like, okay, now I need to find out what are some specifics that this person wants. If this is someone that I can see myself with, or that I'm in a long-term relationship with and we're considering marriage, now I have to think, all right, what are your expectations? What do you expect? What would you want? Like I said, 5, 10, 15 years from now, and have an honest conversation with myself to see if this is something that I can do. Because again, the same way we tolerate things, I think that some women tolerate things thinking that a man will change, right? And over time, they'll say, oh, you're still doing X, Y, Z. You're still playing the video games with such and such. You're still
Yeah, but tell the
going
world,
to this
but tell the world he changed. I don't know what happened. He changed. We just grew apart. Man, you know that dude was no good when you met him.
well, I wouldn't say no good, but I mean, sometimes we have habits.
But
And we
I'm saying,
anticipate,
you know what I mean.
yeah, we
You know what I
anticipate
mean.
that those things will change. So I think that, the honesty and the communication is some things that you should do to prepare yourself. And of course, financially, because if you're in a wedding, bills, are stressful, right?
Oh man, please, the wedding is a bill.
And you don't want to have to worry about being stressed out in a marriage. So of course, having yourself in a solid position financially is something that you also have to do to prepare yourself to be a spouse.
I
In
know
one
you've
way or
heard.
another.
I know you've heard the saying. And I have to say sometimes like, women want the wedding, but they don't want the marriage.
I've heard a
You
lot of people.
Yeah. But the thing about it is like sometimes it's like when you get a couple and it's like a lot of the mistake a lot of people make is your first major debt as a couple is your wedding.
Yeah. Well, that's a big day for a lot of people, right? And they feel like it's worth the sacrifice to some, that's worth the sacrifice. But that's a fast day. Most of us, the men here, have all been married before, and it is a
Hmm.
very fast day. Sometimes you don't even remember all of your guests. You have to look through photos just to see who all attended. But at the time, they don't
I
think.
couldn't go to a church. I couldn't go to a church. We had to have our wedding in a doggone country club because my mother-in-law was a Jehovah's Witness. So
Oh man, what did you all discuss that prior to?
Yeah, we did, but the whole thing about her mom being a Jehovah's Witness, yeah, she kind of slipped that on me. She kind of slipped that on me late in the game,
But I mean, once you
but
knew, again, like you said, some things,
I was already with her.
yeah, you're with her. And I mean, that's just one day, you know, for that
Yeah,
event.
and I sucked it up. It was quite an expensive suck up, but I sucked it up.
Right, right, right.
But I have a question.
Yes.
Like, if you were like, did you want to get married in the church, Jermaine?
Yes.
So did you like, did that, once she told you that, did that then become a conversation between the two of you where you finally just said, okay, I can accommodate this? Or was that not even considered? Like, did you not like stand your ground on
Well, no, what
that
I did,
being
I
something that
compromised.
you wanted?
No, I compromised because what I did was, being the fact that I was really in the church at the time anyway. So I compromised. I met her halfway. So it's like, okay, we don't have to necessarily get married in a church, but can we do premarital counseling with our pastor? Okay,
Got
you
it.
do that, then we
Okay.
can have the wedding wherever you want.
Okay. I'm not too familiar with the whole Jehovah's Witness stuff. That's why I couldn't, really comment on that part.
I have some in my family, so I understand it.
So
I
they
know
don't
it.
go into a typical church. I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, they
they
don't.
go they
But
go to the hall.
Okay. So your wife what did she do? What was her, did she go to a
Like I said,
typical church or was
no,
she a Jehovah's Witness as well?
no, me and her remember the same church.
Okay. 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 But then I get it. So the bride's parents are doing the wedding and,
No, I paid for the wedding still. Like, but my thing was, I was what I said. You said you put yourself in position to do things. So it's like, I was able to do that. Not everybody can do that. Now, don't get me wrong. I did have to do some financing too, but I got it done. But it's like, she met at that time. If you're willing to work with me, I'm willing to work with you.
okay. So now tying back to this, what are some of the things that you think are important when you're preparing yourself for a spouse or to be a spouse?
Well, like I said, and I hate to sound generic, but like it's like I said, there's some base things that you can do to prepare yourself. It's just basically as a man, period. And a lot of times you're gonna find yourself molding yourself to that person. So there's gonna be some things that you don't know that you're gonna have to work on until you meet that person.
And what are those things?
I mean, like some people might, they like to sleep a certain hour. They like sleeping with silence. They like to have certain areas clean. They like to do certain things at a certain time. They like to do, stuff like that. It's like during the process, it's like this person has a individual personality. So do you. So at some point for that stuff to work, y'all gotta find a way to compromise those two personalities together. So there are gonna be some adjustments made. So like I said, compromise. There might be some things. Look, I started watching Lifetime, so I made concessions.
get it, because they got the good movies.
Nah, I ain't gonna say all that. I'm just saying it kept arguments down.
That's true.
It's, hey, I did the same. No, but I didn't really get into Lifetime, but we had favorite TV shows. That was something that was important. You want to
Man, our show was America's Next Top Model and and
time.
Army Wives.
Yeah, and I guess you can consider that a sacrifice,
Man, have you watched a Lifetime movie?
So we had to develop, we had to categorize this, right? And say if we're passing some Jews to some young guys considering marriage, what are some things that we would tell them to do to prepare themselves for marriage?
Be flexible.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Make sure you're down with the streets.
That's good. That's good.
Definitely.
And when you sit
You know
down
what
with
I'm saying?
the street, is that like hanging
Shut
out
up,
the club?
shut up. Oh, no. The extracurricular women.
Toxic behavior.
Everybody
Y'all
got a
see,
level of toxic behavior, though.
yeah,
Everybody has
but
a
you know
level.
how much you know how much you can take. You know how much you can take when you see it.
Yeah, but the question is, what we tell the men? not what we
Oh,
expected from the woman.
well, all I can say is be flexible. That's all. That's all I can say because women are sometimes women are gonna be women. Sometimes you gotta be the man. Sometimes it's like there gonna be some times where she's gonna look to you for things and you can't be like, well, I don't know either. I mean, you gotta be able to handle those responsibilities. But see, I was raised to serve your wife, so maybe I don't know.
What do you mean when you say serve your wife? What do you mean?
Well, like I said, when I go into a relationship, my mindset is what can I do for her? I said, just give me peace. Just give me peace. And something else I said, but it's like, I don't ask for a lot. There's some basic things I ask for.
Men don't. Yeah, most men don't.
Right, right.
Oh, loyalty and peace. You give me you give me respect and peace. Look, everything else is negotiable.
So now we're getting back. Okay. So you're saying, if this is, I guess I see why. Now I see why they say most divorces are filed by women versus men.
Yeah,
Because
because
men, I think our tolerance is higher.
yes.
I don't know.
No,
I
because
think men have a harder time letting go of their
Hold
comfortability.
on, hold on. I think women are more tolerable and more forgiving than men.
come on.
Women will take a whole lot versus a man. You see it
Okay.
every day.
I'm not gonna disagree with you. I mean,
So what areas do men tolerate more of?
well, you remember, I think it was a long time. I don't know if you asked me before, when I first joined the podcast, you asked me a question, would you rather have a woman that's loyal or a woman that cheats on? Well, something to that effect. And I was like, I'll take the cheating. So it's like, no, cause
If you
sometimes
cheat,
like,
you ain't loyal.
it was something else I said. It was a long time ago. I got PTSD, man. But no, it was something to that effect. It was like, if she can give you this, if you had to get one or the other,
That was an
what would you take?
intro. Nikki, you remember that question? Oh, Nikki ain't on no more.
But yeah, it was either or. So you didn't have an in between.
What was it? My
It was
bad.
something. It was something. It was something. Would you take this or would you take
Yeah,
her?
cheating or
Cheat.
disrespect.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's what it
That was
was.
the
That's what it
question.
was.
That's the question.
What was the question?
Would
Would
you
you have
prefer the disrespect or cheating?
Okay.
Yeah, which one could you tolerate more?
Which one can you tolerate? Yeah.
Cheating.
Cheating because we both can cheat.
I don't know, man. Disrespect probably, because cheating that's
see cheating? Because
deep.
cheating can be a mistake. Cheating can be a mistake. Disrespect.
Hell no.
That's right.
That tends to
That's
be
right,
habitual.
Jermaine.
That tends to be
That's a
habitual.
mistake. Okay. All right, you're right. I agree. And I'm going to start using that if I decide to get in a relationship with cheat. It was a
Well,
mistake.
look,
I'm
women,
sorry.
women don't. They have entanglements. Remember?
I slipped and
Tank,
fell into that thing.
Tank, this is the one time that me and you probably agree on this because cheating is not a mistake, baby. You have the right mind to stop yourself before you make that decision to go there. And the fact that you didn't, the moment you choose not to stop yourself is the moment it is no longer a mistake. Because
But
that's
Deborah,
the
no,
moment
in
you
my
made
defense,
a choice.
in my defense, of course, I wouldn't want neither, but it was an either or question.
It was true. Given that, yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
like
I'm
that.
saying. It's an either or. So either or, cheating, if I had to choose, or disrespect. And, a lot of instances where
I got next.
people cheat for various reasons. Yeah. People cheat for various, you know me, I take the back burner. Go ahead. Say what you got to say. I don't want you to be.
All right. So cheating versus disrespect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your woman disrespects you. Okay. Apologize. We get it over with. Your woman cheats on you. All type of stuff going through your head. Who was it? Why? Why? Is it still happening? No. Disrespect me. We can apologize. I forgive you. We can get over it. Cheating. I don't think can't do it. If I cheat, go ahead, forgive me because it was an accident, though.
And see, that's what I'm saying. And see, as men, we're more apt to doggone screw up and have sex to where it's like, we post orgasm clarity.
This guy here.
Uh-uh.
Hey, I mean, just because look. Me personally, I've never done it, but hey, I know a lot of guys have. And I'm like, who am I to judge?
Yeah.
Either or, ladies. What would you prefer, ladies?
I'm gonna have to say neither. Throw the whole person away, cause I
No, this is
ain't
just
none.
hypothetical. Hypothetical. If you had to
You
choose,
got to pick one.
you have to pick
Yep,
one.
that's how I want it.
I say the disrespect, cause you cannot disrespect me. So go ahead and take your best shot.
Okay.
Nikki and
I
Chantel,
would say
you have to
cheating,
choose.
because you can't out cheat me.
God,
And I get you back in the worst way. So for me,
guys. Don't do it to him, guys.
All right.
I don't like this question at
I
all
don't either.
because
I don't either, girl. I
let me
don't either at all.
let me see this. Cheating is disrespect,
It is.
True.
And that's
and
what somebody
because
else
at the
said.
but so therefore I can't. There's not an either or because both of them is the same dang thing.
The trap question.
Yeah, that's one of them trap questions you were talking about.
It's like somebody said before. Okay, you disrespect me. I guess depending on what the disrespect is or how we can kind of maneuver through it and be like, hey, don't do that again. But like coming off just being blatant, just a disrespectful old dirty son of a gun. Like now I got to go. But cheating, I'm just thinking. You know what? I don't like the question. Next.
See?
Well, I think when you said cheating is disrespectful, you're making an assumption that you know about the cheating, like you found out about it. Because the act itself, okay, people like, oh, they disrespected that person, but you know, people lie to you out of respect because they don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want you to know, right?
Push on when they see you the next time you come home. I promise you, I'm going to
So,
body
so,
slam you.
Oh, Lord.
so now we're just looking at it from a different perspective. And I have I just view all this stuff differently. And when you get
You
to,
know,
I think when you get to a certain age or a certain point in relationships, certain things are more important than others.
Listen,
And
I completely understand some things happen, right? But I
mhm.
just feel like this. You just don't wake up one day, walking down the street, and just land as coochie. Like that's a thought process. Like if you had to tell yourself,
No,
Hey,
like,
that happens. It
I want
happens.
that.
No,
oh,
it happens. It
hey,
happens.
it
Chantel.
You
happens.
know,
It happens.
you know what, Koshan, yeah,
Chantel,
you
it does happen. Chantel. Chantel.
don't hear,
Chantel.
It
It
happens.
has
you don't
happened
hear
to me
that.
like 2 times. It happened to me like 2 or 3 times. It did. It did.
So
It did.
how are you walking down the street and you land into some stuff? Come on,
That
y'all.
happens.
Listen,
It happens.
listen. The panel said it can happen, so that's what happened. And that's going to be my excuse.
The men
Because
are
the
telling
coach
you
on the
no.
guy said it can happen.
It happens. It happens.
It
It
can happen.
happens. When,
Baby,
you
forgive
know what?
me.
But women, but your woman can't walk down the street and just happen to
Yeah,
get bent over because
She can.
listen,
That,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
happened
yeah.
as well. That's
Don't
happened as
worry.
well.
Good. What's good for the goose?
Don't worry. The same way she bent over to get that, bend over again. I got something for you too.
Jamaican, I'm scared of you. Who is your family? Who is your brothers? Who is your uncle? I want to make sure I stay away from all y'all because your head
Jermaine need
bad.
prayer
Yes, he do need.
and oil.
I love you too.
So I mean, I think that sometimes people, I think, well, like people have had one night stands. People have had too many drinks, like different things, right? They've been put in
All
position.
right, you don't drink. What's your excuse? You don't drink.
No, there's no excuse. I'm saying that people will have situations where, all right, even if I'm not in a marriage, right? I've been in several situations in my younger years where I can go to an event and have a sexual encounter, right? That happens. And so in my opinion,
Oh boy.
being disrespectful was more of a consciously premeditated decision. You see what I'm saying? Or that's more of a character trait, saying that's who that person is, and they're disrespectful. So in this hypothetical situation where if I had to choose, that's what I would choose. I mean,
Koshan, I
yeah,
don't care how we try to dress up this, y'all. Like, in order for you to be able to cheat, there is a part of you that wanted that. and you seize the opportunity when you
It was
got it.
both of us. It was both of us.
Yeah, whether if it's whoever you're cheating with, but I'm just saying for you, the person who's doing the cheating, knowing that you are in a committed relationship. Because remember, you made that commitment.
Chantel,
You told that what?
let me help you out. You know,
No,
I got
I
you,
need. I
Tony.
don't want you to help
You
me.
are
No.
a loving, lovable person. So I think whenever we discuss things involving cheating, right, you're looking at it from a perspective of a person breaking a bond and things like that. But there are a lot of people out there that do not value intercourse the way that you may, if that makes sense.
True. Sex is
Well, I
sex
want to be
is
with the man who value intercourse the way I do, because if
Right.
you're heard that.
So you're looking at it
So you're
different.
saying like sometimes sex is just like, oh shit, whatever, I just did
sex is
that or
A
physical.
lot
whatever.
of times it's just physical. It's
Sex
absolutely,
is physical.
it's just
Well, maybe
physical.
because I'm.
But you're such a loving, kind, you're a lovable person. Like your personality, you bubbly, smiling, happy, like that's you, right? So you're looking at it from a different lens than what we're describing here. And that's why I think it appears so foreign to you. But a lot of people,
No, I can see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
yeah, it's just what it is.
The Mitchell and me, you already know what time it is on how we act. So I just would prefer him not to cheat.
Right.
Same. I'm with Chantel on that one. I don't yeah.
No,
My
no one
hand
wants to
like,
cheat him.
Right. We don't want it, but if we had to choose, just a hypothetical situation.
I'm
We had
not
to
jumping
choose.
in that one again.
you know what? So even though I don't want it, I do see what you're saying. I think, okay, so I do know like cheating is something that you can possibly work past, right?
Mm-hmm.
And ensure like within our relationship, okay, is this, I guess it'll be a conversation. Is this you? I mean, do you feel like this is going to happen again, to let me know whether if it's something I can work past versus the disrespect? Because some people just, when you, whatever words that come out your mouth, I believe firmly, like, depending on how low you're going as far as disrespect, that's how you look at me, that's how you
Mm-hmm.
see me,
Right.
and ain't no coming back from that. So I can see where y'all coming from. I prefer none. Lord knows I
Right.
prefer none.
But just
Yep,
for the sake
cheat.
of
I prefer
discussion,
none.
yeah, for the sake of
Yeah,
discussion.
according to the sake of the discussion, oh Lord, I can work past the cheating, I think.
Thank you, Chantel.
See, it's
I
not
don't,
that hard.
I don't want either. But you're right.
I don't want either, but like she said, she had to keep, after Coach Sean breaks down several things, she made the decision after hearing it out, because it is different walks in life that take you to the way that you answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
So just hearing it, cheating is disrespect. But you have guys that cheat and you never find out about it.
Right. Right. Their intent is not to be disrespectful at all.
Right.
And
then
they
when
love that person. Men
But
cheat,
can we just not make it a habit?
people cheat
correct.
for different
Yeah,
reasons.
there you go.
Right.
Don't make it a
Right.
habit.
Right. Don't make it a
Yeah,
habit.
like as I'm saying, like if you come on now, like yeah, if you cheating to the point where you got females inboxing me, just kind of embarrassing me out here, that's different. But like you say,
Right.
something happened that night, you got real wasted. Lord no, so Lord, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying I want you to sprinkle this on my future husband.
Chantel.
I'm just talking.
Chantel. Chantel.
Lord have mercy.
Chantel.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Go ahead.
How many times makes it a habit?
Jermaine, I'm not giving you no answer.
No,
Okay, a habit.
that ain't Jermaine.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, how many times makes it a habit?
I didn't say nothing.
That's Tank.
Oh, my bad, Jermaine. My bad. Hey, my bad, Jermaine. I've been blaming you the whole time. My bad. Hey, a habit.
Yeah.
I think. Mm, mm,
Yeah, I like your
I would
answer.
say
Good
if
answer. Good answer.
I don't know.
Well, can we define cheating? What do you classify as cheating?
A whole lot of stuff.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a broad question.
Yeah. What do
You know
you
what?
classify as cheating?
Now, God dang. Somebody answer that 'cause I ain't got time.
They
Coach
look
Sean.
at me.
Coach Sean.
Yes.
They'll say you cheat because you have a conversation and smile. That's cheating to some people. You
I
smile
was
in her
just
face.
about to say.
Yep.
I don't.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't about to say that. I was not about to say that.
You liked her picture. You hearted her picture. What?
No, that's
Nah,
infidelity.
none of that. None of that is
I
cheating.
Yeah, that's not
None of that
infidelity.
is
No, but
cheating.
you're right. Some
Well,
people do
cheating
feel
is
that
when a
way.
married man is having a whole nother relationship, sexual, being seen with this other woman. I mean, just like he's having 2 or 3 others. That's cheating.
All right. So Nikki said married. So if they're not married, then
Oh, no. I'm my mistake, Krishan.
no. Okay. I'm asking
Married
clarity.
or in a relationship.
Okay.
Okay.
You ain't gotta be married for me
And
to
I,
be
and
wrong.
I,
So does sex have to be involved before it's considered cheating?
I
Nope.
do that. I do believe.
I feel that.
I
For
do.
me, yes. For me, yes.
I feel that too.
Like, because I feel like you may form an like you may have, like you may like form an emotional type of bond with someone, let's say like one of your coworkers, a woman who you are around a lot and you talk to, so y'all might get personal in conversation. So, that's creating kind of an emotional bond between y'all, but I don't consider something like that cheating. You know what I'm saying? It's when sex gets involved, to me, is when it becomes cheating. So anything outside of that, I can forgive. But
So work
when
wives are cool. You can have a work wife.
Oh,
Work
see, that's
husband.
black and white. I like that answer. That's black and white right there.
I mean, as long as she ain't giving you nothing sexual or cooking for you, then you are right there. You good.
Okay. I'm just
I agree
asking.
with
I'm
her.
asking.
I agree with Deb. I just think that and I'm not saying like emotionally, if you are emotionally involved, it might not bother me. It will, but I feel like it's a conversation that we can definitely work through because then it's asking, okay, like, what are you lacking? What's going on with you, or what may I not be providing for you? Because sometimes we as women don't take you all into consideration to, ask you all how you're really doing mentally and emotionally, and somebody may step in and be able to do that. And that's what the
Mhm.
cleanup woman did. But anywho,
True.
but I'll say like sexually, when you start into like now saying that you are having sex with individuals that can possibly put me at risk to deal with not just only people energies but other stuff, then I'm just more like, okay, so why we here? But I mean, to know when it's a habit, that I don't know. I don't know, y'all, but just don't do it no more than 2 times.
Hey. No argument.
This is good. This is good.
Well, technically, you gain a habit by doing something for more than 30 days.
Right. Right.
Like same way you could break a habit in 30 days, you can make a habit in 30 days. So
Actually,
if you keep it below 30 days,
Deborah,
I didn't break it up. I didn't break it up.
I think,
I
I don't know if it changed. I think at one time habits could be formed in 3 days, but takes 30 days to break.
oh, okay, that's what it is then. I know I heard it one way or some way or whatever.
Yeah. I remember that.
oh well, he only need to cheat that one day because all that 3 days in a row and nonstop habit, I ain't want to do that. So just
Right.
That's habitual.
So, and this is something to give some thought to, right? Okay. Well, Terry asked a question. He said, when his wife introduced him to her work husband, that he'd be jealous.
It depends on what the nature of her work husband's relationship is with her.
What do you look like?
I wouldn't
Lord,
really like
I like being the work husband. I like being the work husband.
let me tell you.
for you to be like, oh hey boo, this is my work husband. Huh?
No,
Right. That
I
part.
would
I had
and be like, oh hey baby, this my work wife. Negro what?
I had a
Right.
work wife.
Yeah,
But did you tell your wife you had a work
Yeah.
wife?
Yeah. But when I communicated with my work wife, she would jokingly but every time I speak in my house, every time I spoke in my house, I would have my telephone on speakerphone. And Nikki can tell you that. Like Nikki and I talked every day for I don't know how many years, like every single day. And when I answer the phone at home, I'm on speaker, right?
That is
So,
such a pet peeve.
so my work wife, this was back when I was teaching, we taught together and we worked with each other. Literally, we did some things, some unorthodox things to help the kids, and we communicated a lot. But everything was done in the open, right? But at work, everybody knew, okay, we did things together, right? But it was nothing sexual, nothing disrespectful, nothing like that. She would call and check on the kids. Anytime we attended games or she saw my wife, they spoke, to the point where everyone knew each other, right? but it was never to a point where anything was secretive or anything in a disrespectful manner. And I said it jokingly, like, okay, yeah, you know, that's the work wife, like that. Somebody, music is playing in the background.
That's Tank.
But when you can't stand people who talk on speaker all the time. But that was something I did. That was a form of respect. That's what we did in the house, right? Because what do you like? I don't have anything to hide. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not, I don't even look at it like that. It's because I know who I am, right? And I'm that friend, that person that you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. So just don't ever answer my call on speakerphone. Ever.
But what can you say if you're going to say something that's going to affect a person's marriage or relationship? Then they shouldn't be talking to you anyway. Because profanity, that's understood. You see what I'm saying? If you're a person that uses profanity or you're saying
But what
something.
if I'm calling to discuss something with you that I might not want your spouse to know about? And this is something that I'm confiding in you about. I don't need your spouse to be a part of this conversation.
See, when I said that on some episodes before, y'all had a fit about it. We want to, and I'm glad these things are all recorded. When we talked about the whole sharing secrets and pillow talking and keeping things away, and I was like, it's that person's business. My business I can share with my significant other. But if it's someone else's
Right.
business, that's different. But in that case, you would say, because you know, okay, when I call Koshan, I know his wife is lying next to him, or they're probably in the car together, we're on Bluetooth, whatever. You say, hey, are you alone? Or hey, I want to talk to you about something. If it's something private like that, you know, you can tell me. But outside of that, anything that I discuss with my friends, is going to be discussed with my friends and my significant other.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can get
And I
that.
expect the same. So, and Terry, I don't know the situation. He knows it better than we do. And you can gauge that. But I'm a firm believer in letting people cheat in peace. So I'm not going to act a fool or make accusations because you cannot stop what a person is going to do. Right. And if they are doing something, when you start snooping and all you're going to do is make them change their route. That's it. That's the only thing you're going to do. Cheaters don't stop
Right.
cheating just because they get better. They find different ways of doing it. That's it. So I honestly,
Right.
people like, oh no, there's no way you could, I promise you. My belief is, hey, let them cheat in peace.
But I just think, I just look at it like this. I don't know. I respect people's privacy, however that may go. And though we're in a relationship, I've never, that's not normal for me. I've never, felt no type of way that you on the phone and it's not on speaker and, do what you do. Have your conversation. I don't need to be a part of your conversation. I don't need to hear what you're talking about. Whether it's your homeboy, your mama, your brother, your sister.
And
I
see,
just, I
that's why
don't want to.
communication is so important because
Yeah.
I'm not saying that my way is right. I just say what I do in my relationships. I'm not saying that my way is wrong, but this is why communication is so important. And a person can, but you have to create a space where there is no judgment when a person tells you how they feel, right? And that's not saying a person is
Yeah.
insecure because we abuse that word. That's not an insecurity. A preference could be a preference or something that they're accustomed to. Like, hey, I've been in past relationships. I noticed that we did X, Y, Z. It worked out better that way. We're not together because of other reasons, but when it came to this worked, right? Because the same thing, what do you have to hide? Because if I'm your friend, right? And I came to your house and visited you, wouldn't I be talking in front of your significant other?
I hope so.
So there's no
Right. I
difference
mean,
than
if
if
I'm in the
they
room,
called me. So just so you will know, when you speak to me 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, we're on speakerphone.
I don't know. I'm also the type of person that, like, if your guys come over, I'm not sitting in the midst of y'all. I'm going to go in the other room or I'm going to go find me something to do
No, my
outside of
female,
work.
just say my female coworker comes over or your significant other, his female coworker comes over. You're going to leave them alone or you're going to sit there and entertain?
No, I mean, I'll entertain, but I may go into the other room even still and leave y'all be. Like, it's because I don't feel I don't feel
No,
threatened
not about
by,
threatening, just cordial. If your significant other brings someone over, right? And
yeah,
if
I
she,
trust my partner.
but if they're, I'm not
right.
saying about trust. This, you're taking it the wrong way. This is not about trust. This is just about cordial social interactions. If your significant other's at home, their coworker calls, "Hey, how y'all doing? I came over here to visit my auntie, just realized it's on your street. Or I saw your truck parked right here with that Cowboys sticker or whatever. Is that your house? Yeah, I'm right here. Oh, what y'all doing? Oh, we just sitting here. I'm on the patio, on the grill, blah, blah, blah. Oh, if you don't mind, I'm about to stop over. Or someone could be in the area and they stop over, right? Now, when they come over, what do you do?
I no, I'll be cordial and I'll be social, if
Right.
it's like that type of situation, yes, but I guess it would depend on, the setting, why they're coming over, whatever have you. I'm gonna always be cordial and social, but I still, like, I don't know. I just feel like if it's your homeboy or your brother, your best friend or your brother who comes over, and it's just y'all two, you get what I'm saying?
No,
I
we're talking
may,
about the
I
work wife.
may like,
You're doing it in a same sex scenario. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we're talking about the whole work wife and if a person should be jealous. So that's why I'm using a scenario with someone of the opposite sex.
Oh, now, Coach Sean, no.
Yeah, we don't
I mean,
expect you
I
to
can
hang
still
around
leave y'all
if a
alone.
fellas
I can
come over.
still leave y'all alone.
And we're
If I
If
talking
you're
about
trust
the
you,
unannounced,
I can still leave y'all alone.
okay.
if you're unannounced, maybe, but like I said, at the same time, it's like, hey,
No, if you unannounced, you getting checked because you don't ever show up at my house unannounced.
yeah, and that's the thing. So if you know I'm coming, if I know somebody's coming, I'm gonna let my significant other know so and so is coming over.
I
You
get
know,
it.
so
I get it. Well, let's get back to Terry. And Terry's asking if his wife introduces him to her, her work husband, should he be jealous?
a lot of context that's not in there that we don't know.
Because
Where's
we
it
don't
at?
know
Is it at the house?
what the
Is that a
dynamics are.
company party?
Remember to introduce. How's that? Yeah. I mean, and just from experience, I think that work relationships are cool. I mean, some people, of course, may have cheated or done some inappropriate things with people at the job, but I think that there are a lot of instances where people just have a good working relationship. These are people that you are around for several hours a day. Like you're around people for 8+ hours per day. You're at home, but a lot of your hours you're asleep, you know? So you develop bonds with these people. That doesn't mean something is going on between them, but yeah, that's a case by case situation right there, Terry.
The tank in the room?
I'm not sure. And we have a caller. Hello, Trellis. Welcome. Trellis said she would speak and be cordial, leave, but be within earshot, just listening today. Hey, welcome.
Yeah, speak be cordial, but I don't have to sit directly in you guys' like presence, right? I don't even know that I need to be in earshot. It just I'm gonna be cordial right off top. If you want me to stay and like if you say, babe, hey, like pour us a drink, let's have a drink, things like that, then yeah, I'm gonna stay and just be cordial and enjoy the company. But outside of that, I might step out and let y'all have a moment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe y'all want to discuss some work stuff. Maybe I don't know. Like, I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
That's fair.
Understood. Understood completely. And Trellis, hello. We were just answering a couple of questions that were sent in. I'm sorry. I've been getting calls. What we did, we've established a patron tab. So we have a few patrons here, and our patrons send questions in for us each week, and that's where the questions have been coming from. I apologize about that. And again, we actually went around the very first question. We kind of got some things together. And I see your response, Damon. We talked about things that men can do to prepare themselves to be a spouse. And he said that club life being axed, next ending that, which is, well, as an adult, I didn't do the clubs. I was clubbed out as a teenager. So That wasn't. I have another question that was sent in to us, right? Why won't men discipline the little boy in them? And why won't they nurture the little boy in them into mature, responsible adults? I
What
wanted this.
happened a couple
This
weeks
is
ago?
no, this is something but here's the thing. And I like when they come with the why questions, right? Why questions imply that what you're asking is true. When it may have been something that you've seen, right? But asking why won't men discipline the little boy in them? What are some characteristics? I'm going to ask ladies, if you agree with this, why won't men discipline the little boy in them? What are some characteristics of this little boy in them? What are some things that you think that men should rid themselves of when they become men? Please answer that for me. Chantel, Nikki, or Deborah, what are some things that some character traits that you feel are boyish traits that men should rid themselves of?
I don't know. That's a rough one for me to even like answer because I mean, men are they're gonna mature at different levels. You're gonna, some do it earlier, some do it later. The one thing I definitely always try to or think that a man should have is like standards about himself. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're young, maybe you don't think about that, but as you get into like your 30s, like you should have standards. Like you shouldn't want to lay down with everything. You shouldn't entertain every type of woman. Like, there should be some standards about yourself that you hold as a man, and some men lack that in a lot of ways. So that's about the only thing I could say.
Developing standards, having standards.
Yeah.
Okay. Nikki, Chantel, do you all have something?
So this question was, the discussion me and my friend had. It was more of like, the majority of, let's say, I mean, we're talking more about men, right? But I think as a whole, a lot of us have come from traumatic backgrounds or maybe broken homes in a sense. So when I kind of think about it and with dealing with relationships I've been in, I'll say one, let's say communication, just to give an example, right? So it's like, okay, asking you like, hey, I want us to be able to communicate about what's going on, why you feel the way you feel, you know, or, what your problem is with me in regards to why we're always at each other's throat. And I'm just throwing out some examples. And the one thing that they will fall back on is this just me. Like I've always been like this. Like this is just me. And I'm thinking like just because maybe in your childhood you unfortunately weren't given the ability to be able to express how you feel or to be able to express what's on your mind, you have to get to a place when you become an adult to say, okay, even though I was raised this way, that's not the way I should be or it has to be. So let me work on that. And what I just noticed in some relationships, sometimes guys will just kind of remain in that space of, well, that's how I was. This is what I saw. And that's just who I am. And I'm just thinking like, why you won't try to work on that to make that better, not only for our relationship, but just for you as a whole.
To be a better
I don't
person.
know. Yeah.
Okay. I can kind of get that. I was asking for clarity, but that's a good point.
That
So,
was a good point, Chantel. Yeah, that was a good point.
and seeing what they can do, because I always think about ways, making myself better in different things. And I try to develop a continuous growth model for myself, ways that I can constantly improve. And I think about things that I did as a boy was time management and where I spent most of my time. And I enjoyed hanging out with the fellas. I don't drink, but hanging with the fellas would be just playing ball, being at the basketball court, attending a game somewhere or some function, some event. And I realized that as I got older and you get into a committed relationship, that time could be spent with your spouse or significant other. You need your personal time, I think, and that varies based on the person, but time management is one of the things that I think that I had to, a boyish way that I had to put away was where I spent my time. But I don't think when you ask the question, you're saying why. I don't think that it is concrete that men don't put those ways away. So we can reword it maybe or talk about case by case situations. But I think men pretty much, and that just comes with maturity, right? And I don't know if you all have paid attention. A lot of times when we reverse and ask questions to ladies, your responses are very different, right? So in that is enough evidence to show that there's no generic way that men can be to satisfy and please all women. Because I want to ask Chantel and Nikki, do you have an issue with, or do you expect your man to talk on speaker, or if he gets the call and you're riding together, to use the Bluetooth, and have open conversations around you? Is that an issue? Is that an expectation?
No, not the Chantel who I am now after this. I don't know. I had to go through, at one point, I was dealing with my own insecurities because in the past I've dealt with, the cheating and the lying and things like that. For me now and who I evolved.
So you no longer care about that. Your sound went out, Chantel.
Something I got to search.
Okay.
No, I'm dead serious. Like at one point I was very insecure and I wanted those things. I'm like eavesdropping and I'm trying to listen. I'm not well, first of all, I ain't got no man to practice on now, but I'm just saying that if I was dating in this moment, no, because I believe like eventually it will either come to pass or there are going to be red flags at the beginning that's going to tell me don't continue to go down this road. Like that's just where I'm at. Now I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm dead serious. That's where I'm at currently. He ain't gotta have him on speakerphone. I only on speakerphone because Apple did something to my speaker because I can't really hear, so I got everybody on speakerphone.
It wouldn't matter to me, Cole.
Okay.
It wouldn't matter.
Ask him. And we agree that, people are different. So certain things I think can be universal, but when we get into specifics, we all have different preferences. So there's no generic man. There's some boxes that I think most women would like to see checked. But when we get into pleasing and satisfying individuals, there are some unique things that you should always talk about in relationships and communicate with. That all comes back to communication, right?
I agree, because then it gives both parties to determine what they deal with and what they can't. Because some things, I hear people expect out of in relationships to me sound like control, and I'm just more like,
Right.
I don't want to go down that road. You know what I'm saying? But
Give us an example, Chantel. Or
I was gonna say I could give you a lot. Yeah, I could definitely give you an example. Like, needing the password to your spouse's phone. Like, to me, that's over the top a tad bit. You know what I'm saying? Calling you every time I change locations. That's another one that's over the top to me. I don't know, like asking, I don't know, like just having to ask permission to do like certain little things. Like I had a homegirl who, yeah, like it's one thing for me to just, tell you like, hey, I'm going to do this. But if I have to ask permission to do it as a grown person, like that's, I don't know, that's out of pocket for me.
Yeah, that's a bit extreme in my opinion. I don't know what would warrant a person to have someone asking for permission.
I've seen it.
Notify.
But, even like the phone thing, like I'm not going to go through your phone. Like I'm not even going to answer your phone. Like I'm that type of person. Unless you say, babe, can you answer that for me? Like, who is it? And I look at the screen and I tell you who it is and you say, well, answer that for me. If that's not the situation, there's not one moment that I'm going to pick up your phone or that I'm going to, try to get your password or be looking over your shoulder at what you're doing on your phone. I don't feel the need to do any of that.
I agree with that, Deborah. I really agree with that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's something. And I think notifying is different. So when you notify someone of something is, just simply, hey, if you typically get in from work at 5:30, but the day you're stopping somewhere, It's like, hey, I'm about to stop by. The coworkers and I are going to grab some wings. Do you want something? Something like that. Notifying is a form of respect and communication.
It is 100%. And you can notify without having to ask permission. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The notifying is the respect. You're giving me the respect of letting me know where you're headed, what you're up to. And I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. Now, certain things like, I don't know, I know some men don't like, strip clubs, things like that, or their women being in strip clubs. So I feel like something to that nature, like I might ask, like, do you have a problem with this? Like, do you mind if I go? You know what I'm saying? But that's really out of respect to kind of gauge like how you may look at it or how you may feel about it. It's not really me asking permission to like go step foot in there. It's really just really trying to get your perspective because I've heard, different sides of that coin where men don't really like for a woman to be in the strip club
Mm.
as they don't like to be in the strip club, certain things like that. Cause like that's about the only club that I would frequent. So, but not even the males. I don't like a male strip club. I prefer to go to the female strip club, but I've never been a club goer. But if I did go, I was probably going to the strip club.
I've noticed an increase in female attendance to strip clubs. What do y'all get out of that?
For me, I love, I've never been with a woman or nothing like that. I'm not interested in women, but I love to celebrate, women. And if you're beautiful, you're beautiful. I'll get a dance, pay to watch a show, I'll throw some money on you, give you a compliment. I don't know. For me, it's women empowerment, really. Like, do your thing. I support you. I don't know you, but I support you.
Or is it just
I'm
supporting
with
women?
her. When I used to go to the strip club, I wasn't interested in no woman, but I feel like
Yeah, I'm not as.
Your phone breaking up, Chantel. Yeah, like I could slap a butt cheek or something. Like it's not, it doesn't make me be anybody other than myself. It's just I'm out. I'm gonna come out tonight. I'm gonna have fun. And for me,
have a bad name. But
yeah,
to
like
see how you could be able to hold yourself up on a pole and the strength and to be able to dance the way you dance, I just think is great entertainment. And like she said, woman empowerment, because you're willing to do something I don't have the courage to do.
Mm.
And you look good at it.
right,
Go, sis.
Okay.
right.
I never asked that before and always wondered. I'm not a strip club person. Never been really. I think I might have went twice. Got kicked out once for not tipping. And it was interesting. I looked at it from a business model and was like, man, this is an interesting business and thinking about a way to make some money. And I learned like that night how it worked. And I saw why and how they do the things they do and why it's so biased. So, and I don't know if things have changed, but this was back in college. Met a young lady at the mall and we talked. We both were education majors and she worked at a daycare and we talked about teaching, et cetera, et cetera. And somehow she talked about having a second job she was ashamed of. And she told me where she worked and my partner and I went out and, just wanted to see it in action. And when we got there, she brought us in and she told them to put it on her tab, whatever. And I think every lady had to pay $50 at that time. This is in the 90s, almost 30 years ago. They had to pay $50 each to perform. And that night, there were 20 ladies in the club at a time. They could only be allowed 20 at a time. So I'm like, man, they made $1,000 already off the women, not counting the admission from the guys and then all the drinks. And this club had, I think, 2 stages and then some private rooms and tables or whatever, chairs for lap dances. But everybody had an opportunity to get on one stage for like 3 to 5 minutes, whatever the length of a song was. And then they went to the second stage for 3 to 5 minutes. And then they just roamed the club until it was time to get back on the stage. So while they were roaming, this is when they did their lap dances or went into private rooms or whatever. And then they would come back around. So they basically got to perform once every hour on the stage. And they'll get about 2 to 3 performances. try to collect about $100 each time they went up on stage and make it about a $400 night. And I was like, it's a win-win in my opinion, because if the attractive women could walk away with, $400 a night in the 90s, the club owners making a couple $1,000s a night. It was a lucrative business, but I was sitting there observing it and doing all these calculations, and the guy called us out about not tipping, and they asked me to leave, and I was my last experience at a strip club.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go for that for not tipping. But I also like that's somewhere like I'll go like with my man as well. Like I don't mind going with my man to the strip club,
Do you think he would
him
curb
watching him get a dance, giving him, you know what I'm saying? I don't see anything wrong with that.
Do you think he curbs his behavior because you're there?
I would hope not, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I understand and I know what you go to the strip club for, right? And if I'm coming with you to the strip club, I want to see you be in your element. Like, be yourself. You get what I'm saying?
What?
Because at the end of the night, you going home with me, so I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
You know, so be yourself. Like, let's have fun. I'm gonna, which one do you like the most? That's the one I'm gonna call over. That's the one I'm gonna pay for the dance. That's the one I'm gonna sit back while I sip my drink. I'm gonna watch her dance on you. I'm gonna watch you, slap her
Right,
butt,
right,
rub on
right.
her, whatever. I want to see you in your element. I want to, you know what I'm saying?
Nikki,
Like,
you're
that's
gonna
the
watch
point.
her dance on him?
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, every time I went, they end up dancing on me because I like having fun. So
me
at the end
too.
of the day, you can sit there if you want to. I already know what time it is. We come to terms
Right.
because at the end of the day, when we leave, we
We is
we do
leaving.
nothing. You see what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. Like the end of that night is going to be an epic one because, we just had this whole experience together.
I'm about
You
to.
know what I'm saying? And I didn't put any boundaries on you while we're having this experience because I want you to, you know what I'm saying? Like really just be in your element. So that when I take you home, I could put you in my element. You know what I'm saying? Like just, I don't know, it's a mindset thing, I guess.
So fellas, let me ask the guys, how would you all feel going to a male strip club with your significant other, with your woman, and seeing her in her element?
Well,
Male strip clubs, ew, we ain't trying to go there.
Right. Don't even take me there.
for Sean, yeah, yeah, yeah. Never mind.
I'm just
I don't
asking.
even think that's like sexy. So we wouldn't even have to ever have that discussion. Ever.
So
No.
would you all be comfortable being yourselves like the women that you all become at these bachelorette parties? Could you all do that in front of your man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I guess it all depends on who is doing what at bachelorette parties. Because I'm gonna
Right.
be honest, like I don't if
No. Wow.
well I don't like, plan on having no stripper, but I'm just saying if I was to have a bachelorette party, I don't want no male stripper. Like all of that putting their stuff in a sock and swinging all around. I don't like all that. Like that's just too much for me. I'd rather have some woman sitting up here dancing and we all celebrating each other and doing that. But male
Right.
strip clubs, most women don't really like male strip clubs. That's for like them older women. Like I'm talking about older women because I'm an older woman.
I beg to differ, but okay.
I'm talking.
Yeah. I mean, there's some out there that do like them, but I don't know. I haven't met many of them because all the like the
Exactly.
women in my circle, we go to the women's strip club and we may make a girls' night at the women's strip club. Like y'all let's meet up at Strokers. We about to have some drinks, you know what I'm saying? And this is a whole girls' night. None of our homeboys are even there with us.
And Nikki, you right. I'd be running from male strippers for real. Like I'd be running, like running.
Yeah, but see, Nikki, old school. We ain't slapping no butt. I don't know where that new generation coming from. Them females slapping my butt. We not slapping no butt. I'm not slapping your butt. I ain't watching no female. Only thing I'm doing, I'm gonna be my own personal stripper. I ain't doing no dollar bills and no female. That's just me. And I'm real old school, but people, that's your fun. My fun might be something that you females be like, oh no, that's whack. I think the stripper is whack. And I don't think the opposite person will never be themselves with their woman looking at other females. I don't think that they're going to open up to that point that they're going to be themselves. That's just my personal thought.
I wonder, that does seem awkward. I've never been in a position, so I wouldn't know. It just seems awkward to be in a situation like that with your significant other. It's like you might have fun, but you're still going to,
Have a level of respect.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on the person because just like you,
Right.
you said you've been there like 2 times, right? And you get kicked out because you ain't tipped. So if you go back 9 times out of 10, you gonna still be Coach Sean.
Right.
Like,
and I don't
just
drink, so it really wasn't anything there for me to do.
right.
Right.
And guess what, Cole? I don't drink neither, but I'm just naturally a hype person. You see what I'm saying? But I know men who go into the strip club and literally it's like if the girl come and dance on them, they'll throw some dollars, but they ain't all wow. They facing the girl bunkie or whatever. Like, they don't do
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? So like, it all depends on who you dating. We know our significant others. Like, we know our wild men and our wild women. Like, you know who you dealing with. Like, I know, I could tell you if it was my ex, 9 times out of 10, like, no, he wild like that. He like to act a fool, so he may do this, but you know who you dealing with. So if they're with you in the strip club and you will be looking at them like, bro, this ain't even how the way you act. Come on, man. Go ahead and act like how the way you want to act. But if you dealing with someone who's just real subtle, they just chill, that's exactly how they're going to be in the strip club. Like, the strip club ain't, depending on which strip club. A lot of them hasn't been as wild as, people make it to be, but that's just how I was. Now, I don't go to no strip club now, but I'm just telling you who, 10 years ago, what I was doing, and we just had a good, you know what I'm saying? So, like, hey, that's how I look at it. I mean, I guess somebody got to do the job.
Yep, sure do.
Right. And I don't know. I don't think it poses any type of, like problem or anything like that. Like, and here's the other thing. Here's the other part of it. Along with allowing them to be in their element, right? You also, as a woman, have to know you can't be coming behind that and be like, oh, I took you to the strip club and look at how you acted. Look at what you did. No, I took you to the strip club for that experience. So I am not going to judge you about what, you know what I'm saying, how you act there or what you do there. You know what I'm saying? If I see you taking it too far, I might step in, rein it back a little bit. But outside of that, it's a judgment-free zone, and I'm going to allow you the safe space to be who you are and still love you afterwards.
Yeah, that's just like being around your kids. They're not going to cuss and be themselves fully with the parent there. And I mean, I guess you build that relationship and trust, but I just find it hard to see men being themselves with their woman next to them, versus being out with the fellas at a bachelor party. Because if this girl's dancing and your man wants to pick her up on the wall or she's sitting on his face, what's your reaction to that?
Bro, that's just,
That's just disrespect, and that's not even happening in a strip club. So,
What do y'all think these men doing at the bachelor parties?
well, you should be doing something.
I mean, the bachelor parties are a little different than a strip club, though, because you still on
See that a man is never going to be himself in your presence. He's never going to be himself.
When me and my guys have bachelor parties, we just have prayer service and stuff like that. We don't do all of them.
Yeah, whatever, Tanks. Go back on mute, Tanks.
We don't do that. We have prayer service. We talk about, we prepare them for marriage life, what it's going to be like. And that's what it is. We go bowling and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, Koshan, like in the strip club, okay, so I'll say like strokers. And I know maybe, a lot of y'all ain't been to the type of strokers in Atlanta is a strip club where, yes, you can touch the women. Yes, they're naked. You know what I'm saying? And so like when I took my fiance there and we went to go have fun that night, like she gave him a whole lap dance. She was butt naked. I didn't like it didn't cause a problem. You're not going to put your cooch in his face. We're not doing that. But, you do your job. You dance. You can do a trick or two. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't pose a problem for me.
So what do you
You know what I'm
think she would
saying?
do if you was not there?
Same thing, man. We don't do that. We don't get crazy in the strip club.
I would hope the same thing. Because here's the thing, there's a level of things that the strippers can't even do. They can't do that type of stuff.
Well, I'm thinking
Right.
about bachelor
Whatever
parties.
she's going to do,
Boom, boom,
whatever he
boom.
allows her to do, y'all.
I'm thinking
Like, you
about
gotta understand.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about bachelor. All I'm saying is that to think that this man is the same person with you there, then when you're not is a bit absurd because
I'm not saying it's not the truth, but a bachelor party is different because why would I, as a woman, be at a bachelor party with my significant other and his, all his other male friends? That's not going to be the case. The strip club is just a little different scenario
'cause I've
than a
been to
bachelor party.
a few bachelor parties. I've hosted a few of them,
Yeah, we did.
and sure, we're not talking about what we see on television. I'm telling you what goes on in real life. So, and I'm talking
Like
about
I said, Coach On.
18 to 80. We got the old men in there laying on the dresser with the women sitting in their face. So it's just a different atmosphere when with men versus
Yeah.
going.
Coach On,
Yes.
like I said,
Hmm.
every woman should know their man.
Right.
So if I know my man is the wild type that get drunk and have all this fun and be wild,
Right.
there's 9 times out of 10 he doing some wild stuff when I'm not around. He may
Right.
be relaxed when I'm there, you know what I'm saying, out of a form of respect, but when I'm not around, he may be different. That's like when you hanging out with your girls, we hanging out with our girls, we may talk differently than what we do when our, significant other is around. It's no different, but I'm just saying, like, you should be able to know your man. Some people real life ain't gonna be on that, like, nah, you ain't gonna do too much over the top on me because I got a woman and I respect that. And then you got some who, I got my woman, I respect her, but she know I a wild nigga. You know what I'm saying? So like, you just gotta know who you dealing with to know exactly what he gonna give in front of your face and behind your back. That's how
Right.
Okay. So there, at least you all understand and recognize that there is a different person from when you're not around.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
we a different person when we ain't in the strip club when we ain't around them. So I mean, everybody different
Right.
when they're
Right.
around each
Right.
other.
Okay. That's some clarity for me. That's what I was asking because it's like he can be himself, and I'm like, no, man will never be who he is around the fellas when he has his significant other sitting right there with him, and I respect you all for doing that and allowing him to, be in that space where he can go out and enjoy himself. I mean, that's good. I commend that. Nikki says she ain't hearing that at all. If he wants,
Nikki's not having it.
Nikki says she will be his private dancer.
Well, I mean, I could be that. We could do that too. But I think part of it for me is the fact that I grew up and I was raised in a house that had 4 girls and 12 boys. One. So I was raised around, a lot of males. And then as I grew up, like my friend circle consists of more males than, though there's a couple of females sprinkled in there, like it's more male prone of a friend circle. And so I guess being around men more made it easier for me to like really know how they are and know how to just move a little differently. Like I was taught a lot of ways by my brothers and my cousins, like they taught us as we were growing up. So, there was a lot of insight that I got that maybe other women didn't get or didn't have the ability to have, from a male's perspective growing up, like how I did.
And I'm sure that molded you, and you understand that.
Yeah,
Seeing things from
definitely.
light.
I'm way more of an open person, way more open, way more understanding than a lot of women that I encounter.
Okay. Man, I'm sorry. I thought Jermaine was going to say something. I saw your microphone lit up, Jermaine.
Oh no, I had to switch devices.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, just give everybody a recap. I'm sorry, you all. I'm having a lot of pain today. So I've been in and out and muting and going through our questions, trying to filter through because a lot of the questions that we're getting in are questions that may have been asked previously. And of course, we have new listeners. So, I respect, I still try to ask them so that they can There's some things that we can discuss. And I have another question. We're coming down to our final 10 minutes. I have another question, and this goes back to what we were asked previously about, first of all, do we agree with this caller? They asked, why do men become a better person for the next girl compared to their ex-girl? And men, think we all agree that this just happens, with the life. Yeah, go ahead, Tank. What do you say?
It's the evolution of life. We learn and we grow and we evolve every day. Most people, we try to grow and evolve every day. So we tend to, the average person, I think, wants to be a better person every day. So just like relationship, we want to try to be better. Now it wasn't the last relationship. So just evolution of life.
Mm.
My opinion, I think I heard, I kind of coming along the end part, but I'll say that I believe that some people, depending on where they at, that last relationship may have taught them like they needed to grow up. They may have needed to fix some things about themselves, and they did. So when they just walked into a new relationship, that person reaped the benefits of somebody who looked at themselves and looked at the man in the mirror and said, no, you're effed up. As a human being, you need to get yourself together and end the cycle. And then unfortunately, sometimes we as women have to understand that we weren't the one. Sometimes we're in relationship or situationship with individuals who really don't want to be with us.
Mm.
And when they move on, they give what they know they can give to the person who they really want to be with. And that's just how I look at it.
Chantel, I'm going to piggyback on you. Me and Coach Sean talked about this maybe this week or last week. The actual man doesn't even have to change. It's just like how you said, that person he was with, that chemistry, they couldn't disagree to agree. They were just two opposite person and it didn't work. That man, he may have never changed nothing that he was doing. And it just seems that he is so perfect or so good for this next woman. But all along, it was the individual he was with.
Yeah, in the last
And
situation.
I agree with you 100% because what you are not willing to accept, somebody may be willing
else
to
will.
accept.
Yeah.
So
That's
you don't
right.
communicator, but because this person has let you know, like, I ain't trying to communicate. Somebody might look at it and like, you know what? I done had worse. I'll just deal with it. And he down to say like, look, somebody accept me for me.
Right.
That's why I try to tell women, like, you cannot look at these situations as if, oh, he left me and decided to do better. Some people don't change.
That's right.
Right. And what seemed like, and that is why I think that we should have our own criteria. And I'm being biased in saying this, right? Because I'm assuming that men can do it as well, but I think that women allow other women to influence their relationships more than men allow other men to influence at a younger
That's
age.
fact.
At a younger age. And I'm saying that because when we're in relationships or getting into relationships, and when we're younger, a lot of men, first of all, don't even talk about it. Like they don't want to say, oh, I'm locked down, right? Or I'm with one person. But women do. And when they share that, every time you share the guy you're talking to, here come this chick with, oh, he tried to talk to me in 7th grade, or he tried to talk to my friend, or, they get together and tell all of the positives about their current relationships, but not the negatives, right? And others subconsciously feel like, oh, wow, her man does this. In order for me to be in a good relationship, then my man needs to do this, instead of having it set ourselves. And men don't want to be compared to other men and what your girlfriend's husband did. We don't care about that because a lot of times we know things that we're not, wanting to disclose. Like, so when you come with this, oh, her husband took her to such and such, in the back of our minds, we're like, yeah, but she's not telling you how he knocked her head against the wall, or she's supporting his drug
Right.
she's supporting his drug habit that you don't know about, or she didn't tell you about the other girl that's had an abortion. So I think that women compare relationships more so than men, and that's just my assumption. And I just said in a lot of instances, and
And they do.
and when we're younger, and what I like and admire, and it's something that I've always looked for since I was younger, when I look for a woman to settle down with is I always avoid women that hang with a bunch of women. I try to find women that have like, one best friend, or they communicate with their mom, their sister, like family, right? Because they've experienced the betrayal, the lying on, the backstabbing, and they realize that at the end of the day, the people that have their best intentions is that one true best friend, maybe two, right? And that family member that they're close to. But when you see women running in circles and having all these best friends, that's a recipe for destruction and drama. Someone said, Mercy, welcome in. We had a few guests that joined in you all along the way. Want to welcome everybody here. And I swear these 2 hours go by so fast, y'all. We're down to 4 minutes, 3 minutes. We're down to 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And like, that's the truth about women, though. A lot of women, do compare their relationships to other women or get, advice from other women. And like, I have learned that, like, I won't even take relationship advice from my mom because I haven't seen her have a successful relationship, right? And there's only like certain women that I will confide in to even ask certain type of relationship questions because I am very wary of just getting any woman's advice.
Ask that.
Like I need to know that you are either in a very successful, relationship, and it ain't got to be perfect, but it has to be a certain type of way for me to even ask you for some advice.
Ask that man.
I mean, I'm gonna ask that man too, but again, sometimes when you just need that outside, like I may need to ask, I may bounce a question off of her, like, do you think I am like being out of pocket, or do you think it's a different way I could look at this?
A reflection
Like,
of you, yes, but
yeah, like I ask those type of questions to other people.
Okay, because nobody knows that man better than he knows himself. Okay. And that's the purpose of the show in general, hearing the male's perspective, because many times women ask other women, girl, he did such and such. I wonder why. And rarely, and you all can tell me if I'm right or wrong, how many times do women say to each other, girl, I don't know, maybe you should ask him, versus the times they just throw their expert opinions in?
Not often.
Right.
Not often at all.
Shar, Nikki, Chantel, I'll ask it again. When you all are asking questions, relationship questions or questions about a man or what your man is doing, how many times do women come out and say, I don't know, maybe you should ask him, compared to the times they'll just give their expert opinions?
I don't talk to no female but my man. If I don't talk to my cousin, you, like a brother,
Right.
I deal with it. I observe and I get my own answer. But anybody can tell you, I ain't talking to no female. And that God, that's the God heaven's truth, not me.
Yeah.
So
Most of the time I'm going to ask a man, and I'm going to ask like one of my brothers or one of my cousins about, if I'm asking a question about why my man, like I'm going to a male to ask those questions. I'm not asking those questions of a female because I want to know what, as a male, you're going to tell me so that I know what other different perspective I can have or I can look at this situation in, because maybe I'm not seeing it in that moment. But if I bounce this off of another guy, right, then maybe I can get the understanding that maybe my significant other is having that I'm just not seeing. So I'm not asking another woman.
What's the question now?
we ask, when you're looking for relationship advice, right? How many times have your female friends say, girl, I don't know, maybe you should ask him, compared to them giving an expert opinion, just assuming they know, and probably never even had a conversation with your man, but they're willing to give their expert opinion?
I don't know, probably never.
Okay.
We always give the expert opinion. I don't know. I mean, I go to my female friends because I don't have, it's just three of us, and I feel like they've been in a relationship where they can give me great advice, so I trust them. But I can go to my man and say, hey, how do you feel about this? Da, 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 da. But none of my homegirls ain't been never like, oh, go to your man first. No.
Right. Okay. Shar.
Shar, you want to try to speak? Let's see if we can hear you.
Testing one, two.
Oh yeah, you're low. Okay.